Are we cut joy? Are we cut joy? Okay, there we go. Let's see if audio works now. Useless Mind Records. Oh, wait. Hold on. That was hella loud, huh? Hold on. I need to change the settings. How about this? Yo, I'm sick and tired of this fucking Windows, bro.
Oh, look.
Test net. Check. It's not working. Dude, I fucking hate Windows. Diamond Diva. Thank you for the resub, Diamond Diva. Let's go. Kachoy. Alright, I don't think the restart really helped, to be honest. Useless Mind Records. That is so bizarre. Tess? Yeah, I have no idea. Music won't play. That sucks. We're not going to be able to do outro today. Power Hour. I probably just messed up a bunch of audio stuff while I was trying to render the new AI model. Okay, any other questions, you guys? I'm actually going to try to stream on my Mac on Monday. It's too easy, but it's not when I have to figure out what the fucking routing is for Windows Media. Jesus Christ. Test, 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 test. Okay, so this feed is good. Huh. Okay, well, I'm gonna just try rendering this AI once I finish the stream. You guys good? Just save this. Damn, that Aston Martin high rise in Miami is sick, huh? Do you have your own private pool? You do. Holy fuck. Damn. It's a plunge pool. All right, any questions? Kagam, you good? All quirky, are you good? 52 minutes until U.S. markets close. I love you guys. Let's get nasty on them. Chris, you know what I'm talking about? You seen this? It's a plunge pool, but it's sick. It's on, and it's a nice balcony too. You see it? But if you know, you know. But that traffic right by that building is fucked. All quirky, what's going on? Alrum, what's going on? Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Cage says plunge pool on the bucket list. Yes, sir. But it's got to be on the penthouse, though. If it's not on the penthouse, then what are we doing here? Why is this stuttering like this? Look. 57th floor. Kachaya. Yeah. That's got joy, man. Why is it buffering like that, though? How we doing? $50 minutes left. Any questions? You guys excited for CPI Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen? Can I get a kacha? Happy Friday. Calling noob, you good? Cytilix, any other questions? How you doing, Cytilix? Longers, let's juice. Shorters, let's juice. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. It's too easy. Kachoya. I can't even play the clapping sound effect anymore. Lemonade, let's go. Calling noob, Somniator, Chris BX. 49 minutes until U.S. market close. I'm excited for the weekend. Haskir says, anything that we need to be aware of for the weekend? I mean, everything that we talked about. Do you have anything specific you want to ask me, Haskir? Like, for example, is that a bad high or a good high, Haskir? How many times has a bad high gotten left behind on a Friday? Did they clean it on Monday, Sunday? What happened? Just like, just do your best and think about all the shit that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks. Yeah. Because, I mean, sooner or later, you want to start to, wean off, right? You're not going to be drinking, like breastfeeding from your mom at 5 years old, right? So at some point, like, you want to start weaning off, like asking me what you need to be aware of for the weekend, right? So every weekend we talk about this. Think about all the stuff that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks. We've been talking about how, S&P confluence is a big deal. So it's really more about, do you want to talk about anything again? Yeah, but as long as you've been paying attention to the last couple weekends and the last couple CPIs, the last couple FOMCs, I think you're all set. I feel like we've covered everything. So,
one thing my trainer, he told me.
Huskier,
he said,
but you've been here long enough. You know how to spot bearish open interest. You know how to spot bullish open interest. You know what bull divs and bear divs look like. You know that you can just look at the daily candle closes on the past Fridays. So I think you're okay. Yeah, but instead of something so open-ended, definitely hit me up with something specific, But what do you need to look out for over the weekend? Volume, breakout, swing fail, bad high, bad low, cleans. And more importantly, whatever price action that the weekend does it finish it good? Meaning, if it dumps, is it an unfinished low or is it a finished low? And then, sprinkle in a little bit of like RTH and ETH gap play on Sunday and Monday, you should be good to go. Haskir says, I'm brainstorming what could happen first. Yeah, but again, remember what we told the other guy? That's not your job. And you'll never be able to do that. You'll never figure out which one's going to happen first. So your job is not to figure out which one is going to happen first. Your job is to be prepared for whatever. Alrighty. So identify levels to the upside, levels to the downside. Yeah, I mean, this week has been one of the most juiciest and profitable weeks for us. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we might have broken the record for gifted subs, right? So we had a couple people gifting over 1,000 subs this week. Lots of juicy juice sentiment analysis popping off point. We had pixel perfect entries on everything, stop loss and profits, bullish retest, bearish retests. Yeah, we did everything live. I mean, if you've been here, I don't know how you could have not juiced. But let me know if there's anything specific you want to talk about, brother. Haskir says that leads to my follow-up question. If the dump happens during the weekend, would it be too risky to take it? It's up to you. I mean, that's the whole reason why we took the short today, right? Were you here last Friday? I spent, I think in aggregate, maybe like 6 hours explaining why last week on Friday I took a short when I normally don't take a short. And then obviously that applies to like Sol and ETH. Remember that question, we brought it up on Wednesday. So we said, instead of taking it over the weekend, let's just take it on Friday with RTH. And then let's just hope that we don't get stopped out. And then earlier in this today, Mandelo asked me about Sol levels to the upside. And I said, if I get stopped out, which I probably will, then I'll take that swing fail pattern. So you should have already been figuring that question. You needed to ask yourself on Wednesday. People did ask on Wednesday. Somebody asked on Wednesday, are you going to take a short again on Friday? Huskier. So you should have already been taking the short today during RTH. And then so you can put your stop loss at break even. You know, I wouldn't be asking to take the short because your question is, if the dump happens during the weekend, would it be too risky to take it? Yeah, because it already happened. If you should have asked that question on Wednesday, you should have figured out an answer on Thursday and Friday. And today would have been, you have 43 minutes until RTH is complete. You have 43 minutes to get in if you want to take it. Yeah. So a little bit behind schedule, Huskier, but something like that, people were asking on Wednesday. And then we made up our mind yesterday and we executed today. But I do think that asking 30 minutes, 40 minutes before RTH US market close on Friday for to get into a position for the weekend might be a little bit too late, unless you just wanted to know if it was going to close below or above settlement. But today, like, stuff like that doesn't matter. We're so far away from that shit. Haskir says, yeah, what I meant is take the long on weekend if we dump. Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. So same exact thing that we talked about a little while ago. Is the low good? So so Haskir, what I want you to do is take a look at Sunday ETH CME open, okay? And go back to the last 10 Sunday nights, Monday mornings, okay? Out of the 10, how many bad lows and bad highs or overnight lows and overnight highs got swept? I want you to look at the last 10 Sunday ETH, Monday RTH resumption, and I want you to tell me out of the last 10, how many of them cleaned the overnight or over the weekend low or high. Bonus points if you want to do that for the Mondays before CPI. Okay? And the other question that I would have for you too is, are you expecting that the initial move is going to be a debate on Tuesday? So then, if you do, is the low on Monday good or bad? It's not going to be about the Sunday weekend overnight high or low. It'll be the Monday high or low that ends up getting swept on initial move as a debate. So that's the way that I would work my way backwards, Haskir, and kind of figure it out that way. Are you a little bit more bullish or a little bit more bearish? So just to kind of answer your question so it doesn't seem like I'm just dodging it, brother, if we get 100K at the single CME single print and the VWAP over the weekend. Do you think I'll take it? Yes or no? I gave you the answer in that question. If we go to 100K single print on CME during the weekend, do you think I'm going to take it? Yes or no, Haskir? The answer is no, because the CME is closed over the weekend. Therefore, it's not going to be able to grab the single print. So what I would do is if it does nuke and it goes below 100K, I'm taking the bullish retest on Monday with RTH. But the whole point of me longing down there, the whole point of the market going down there would be to restore imbalance, aka get single prints and maybe do like a VWAP retest or clean some lows. That can't happen over the weekend. So that's what I mean by, is the low good or is it bad? And does that mean that the chances of it getting swept again when CME actually comes back, whether Sunday night or Monday morning, does that shit actually going to clean it and then go? So if you're asking me, like, are you going to take that long over the weekend? Yeah, I just said no, right? But if the Sunday ETH gap play turns out to be worthy of it, then I might already be in the long before Monday RTH. Does that make sense? But the whole point of me wanting it to go back to do 100K or 98, I want that single print grabbed. So I can't long it until that bitch is grabbed. So I have to wait until CME comes back on. So if I am going to be in a long, if it does dump, depending on where we are price-wise, I'm probably going to have to wait until Sunday ETH. And then I'll play the Sunday ETH in my favor, because the Sunday ETH is going to let me know, dip the tip, this is the invalidation, this is the entry. Did that make sense, Haskir? I'm bullish on higher time frame. Got you. Yeah, so 100K bullish retest, right? And Haskir, this morning I kind of talked about how you can really fuck shit up and make it so much more complicated than it needs to be when you start to add leverage, right? So just be careful. Doing it spot, lowering your leverage, smaller position size is always going to be the best way to go about it. I would love like a trident at 100K. And so that I'm giving myself wiggle room, because a trident has a what? A lower low, right? So that lower low could be 98, 99. I know you're going to want to lose 100. You understand that? That like you want to break the 100, people get bearish, trap, and then go. Burbeezy says, yes, the weekend ETH gap play worked nice the last 3 weeks. Oh, I know. That's why I'm trying to tell homie that he needs to get caught up on that shit if he hasn't been paying attention to it. Because isn't that the easy one, Burbeezy? That's the easy one. So, yeah, man, I'll probably just sleep in. I'm not really going to look at the charts tonight or all day tomorrow. And then Sunday, maybe an hour or two before market CME is going to open back up, I'll take a look. Where the fuck are we? Where are we making value? Are the highs good? Are the lows good? Are there any divergences that form between over the weekend? Was it low volume, good volume? And then I'll make a decision on which one I want to play. The gap, the RTH or the ETH. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you guys, if you guys have hands up, if you've been like trading or watching the charts over the weekend, the ETH resumption is hella easy. So I think there's a couple of big like patterns that we can clearly see from the last couple weeks to help us figure out when we might have the best chance to do our thing. Curvies, Danny, thank you for the 10 gifted, Danny. I can't do any sound effects. Kachoya. You guys are the fucking best, man. You guys are the best. You know that, Lions? You know that? Cage, you good? Houston, you good? Lions, are we good? How we doing? Let me know. 35 minutes, and then I gotta get out of here. I can't play any music right now, so I can't do the outro music today. Huskier says, really appreciate it all, Kimba. Sometimes need to refresh the data on my head. No problem, Huskier. I mean, Huskier, haven't you been watching the charts over the weekend? The last couple weeks? I feel like you have. Sometimes you just need, another person to just tell you what you already know. Am I right? I don't think I've really shared anything that's like extraordinarily unique or something that you guys can't see for yourself. Sometimes it's good to just have somebody take a step back with you and kind of look at the big picture, right? Yeah, but take a look at value area high, value area low, get some anchor VWAPs from the top and from the bottom, pull some fibs, you know what I mean? Try your best to nerd out on S&P. I do think S&P is going to be the most important confluence for me for this week. So you could tell me, longs are trapped, shorts are trapped. None of that's really going to matter to me too much. I think Bitcoin will just follow S&P. Lusky says, any good source when to start from, or should I just go into the past ETH gap plays? Yeah, Lusky, I mean, definitely switch to ETH and take a look at Sunday opens. Here. So this is ETH, okay? So those are your ETH gaps. So try to see exactly how did it play out? How are these things playing out? Can you trust it? Can you not? Haskir says every weekend on the charts, but do it with the gang always better. Yup, for sure. So I think you're gonna notice, and if anything, Haskir, maybe the real juice is, oh shit, even though I'm watching this shit every week, I'm not extracting as much data as I could be. So maybe that's the real thing. But you should be, if you haven't been, keep track of RTH gaps, ETH gaps, I don't care how you do it, but if I ask you something if I say something like, I can see that about 70% of the RTH gap plays have been working, that's good enough for me, I'm going to take it. Do you have something like that where you can look at actual data and know if it's working or not? The worst thing that you could be doing is doing something that is worse than 50-50, and the only reason why you're still doing it is because you don't keep track. How retarded would that be? I mean, we say data is the data. So make sure that your strategy and what you're doing actually is better than 50-50. Some people have never figured it out, have never recorded shit, and they don't even know, which blows my fucking mind. All right. Copy Trading says, when can we put all that amazing music to Spotify and Amazon? I'm going to be bringing back the 100K to 1 mil challenge probably next week. Just depends on how quickly we can do these design finishes. So I'm going to put all the music on the 100K to 1 mil stream again, so you guys can listen to it over there. Lusky says, what if we have a gap inside a gap, if that makes sense? For sure. And there's plenty of examples of that, Lusky. So there's three things in that question, Lusky. One is, understanding that you're always going to be able to come up with great questions, right? And when you come up with a good question, do you have a way in which you can self-answer or self-teach? Because if you're going to be somebody that relies on another person to teach you something or explain something every single time, you're already losing to everybody that can self-learn and self-teach, right? If you come up with something in your head and your first reaction is to type it out in Twitch chat instead of go to Google and try to Google it yourself, you're probably not in the top 5%. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be mean. I think everybody would agree with that, right? Coming up with a good question is just the beginning. You still need to be competitive in terms of how you figure out how to answer that, right? So most things are either Googleable, YouTubeable, or you can just go back and see if it's ever done it yourself. All right. But that being said, so that's the first thing. Anytime that you are able to come up with a question, try to think like, what's the competitive way to go about this, right? Always be thinking like your end goal is to be in that top 6% of retail traders that get to juice, right? Everything that we do is to be in that top 6%. All right. So got to compete. That being said, if you go back and take a look, okay, there are sort of basic foundations that you can rely on. So for example, Lusky, what is the difference between RTH and ETH? RTH has more volume, right? If it has more volume, you can trust the gap, right? If it didn't fill it, or if it filled it all the way, or this is where it started dumping, or this is where it started pumping, and this is where it started making the gap, you can trust the RTH gap more than the ETH gap. So if you have an ETH gap inside of RTH gap, you're going to go with the RTH gap. You're always going to go with something that has more volume. People will always ask, hey, what if you have a bull div, a smaller bull div inside of a bigger regular bear div? Which one do you take? The higher time frame. The bear div or the bull div, you look at the anchor points that make the divergence. Which one has more volume? Which one has bigger CVD? All right. But a lot of these things, Lusky, you're going to notice that as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's common sense. A lot of this shit is common sense. There's really nothing that goes outside of common sense. So, let's get that juice. There's gonna be fundamental stuff that will guide you with stuff like that, Lusky. You don't have to make shit up. So if you're talking to me about an ETH gap inside an RTH gap, it's gonna be the RTH. If you're talking about ETH inside the ETH, what's the CVD? Tell me which candles had more volume. You know, which one has a divergence, which one doesn't, right? If you still can't figure it out with CME, then what would you go to next? Coinbase Spot, right? If you can't figure it out on CME, then go to Coinbase Spot, right? If Coinbase Spot is still not helping you out, then what's the next thing you do? You go to the derivative exchange that had the most amount of volume. So it's there's no like black and white answer to tackle every situation that you might run into. Rather, you just need to have a repeatable protocol. So whatever it is, whatever question it is, you have the Lion protocol that gets activated. Sounds good? I hope that made sense, man. Grim says, Kimba, how about idea of higher time frame Trident going back to 1991K? I would just rewind and get caught up, Grim. We already talked about that multiple times. Right, chat? Does anybody know what the timestamp for when I just said that? Just go rewind like 40 minutes ago. You'll run into it at some point. We just talked about it. Dan Green, you good? Lusky says this week was juice on learning because a lot has happened, but we'll nerd out on gaps. 100% Lusky. Lusky, when I say who juicin and you think I'm talking about money, anybody that thinks I'm talking about money when I say who juicin, they're not juicing. Know what I mean? So, yeah, lots of stuff to go over. I mean, identifying levels, thresholds. A lot of lions, their lessons and things to learn wasn't even like technical or mathematical. It was just another reminder, hey, maybe you need to be more patient. Hey, maybe you need to be a little bit more prepared. Hey, maybe your risk management should be a little bit better. So, yeah, lots of juice. Everybody had an opportunity to juice the fuck up this week. And brother, I've been streaming every day for 3 years. I promise you, you did not miss a long, you did not miss a short, okay? I have had 3 years of motherfuckers telling me, I miss my long, I started streaming right here. Right here. You know how many people have told me, oh, I miss my short. Oh, I miss my long. Oh, I miss my short. Oh, I miss my long. Oh, I miss my short. Oh, I miss my long. Oh, I miss my short. Oh, I miss my long. Oh, I miss my short. Oh, I miss my long. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Stop crying. Figure out what you need to do better. Get the next one. Jesus Christ. You didn't miss shit. Like every fucking week, every month, I get people that are freaking out. Hey, you missed this, Kimba. We didn't miss shit. Oh, I missed it, Kimba. You did not miss anything. You know what you're really missing out on? The opportunity to fucking learn and improve. That's what you're missing. Forget the fucking trade, bro. Boy Alvarado, Playas, Lusky, Seeking. Everybody good? Dan Green. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you nerd out if you can. Rest up. Enjoy the weekend. I need everybody's best again next week. So make sure you reset, emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, I think we all do it, but we're pretty greedy and selfish with our time during the weekday, right? Sometimes I tell baby girl, hey, I got to take this dinner and work in the office. I got to finish this thing with Swabizi. Sometimes I got to be like, baby girl, I got to cancel our date tonight. I got to figure out V2. So this weekend is your time to kind of pay back everybody that you've been kind of cheating on, right? Make sure you guys hang out with your friends, family, loved ones, all right? Any questions? You guys okay? Maugus says, finally got my first Bolkowski book this weekend. That's awesome, Maugus. That's awesome. I love the effort. I love the want to. It's got to mean something to you, It should mean something to you that you are willing to sacrifice yourself for the betterment of other people. How many people here legitimately trying to juice the fuck up so they can better the lives of other people? It's not just you. How many people trying to do this thing for other people? You're not just like trying to get like an expensive car or be able to have like some crazy lifestyle. You're actually here for like serious reasons. You're here because you want to change the lives of people that you care about. Not because you want to buy some expensive car or a watch or whatever. So it's got to mean something to you, right? We all take pride in the fact that we can help other people, do we not? We take pride in that, right? It should be important to you. So, it's got to mean something to you, to be good at something, to be willing to. Oh, you scared me. Give me a kiss. I love you.
I love you. I will come back soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drive safe, my love. Oh, wait, today's the first time you drive with the thing, the toll thing. Yeah, okay. All right, I love you. All right, 21 minutes. I forget what we were talking about. But anyways, we are going to be starting about the midway point of May next week. Pretty exciting. Time goes by so quick. Mark says, I really don't care too much about me. Yeah. So, I mean, this should be important to you. You know, it should be important to you that you're willing to outwork and outcompete. Everybody understands the brutal truth of life is that you don't deserve anything. You know, so everything in life you've got to earn, you got to fight for it. And the best part is we love that that's the way it is. That's the way it should be. That's the way I want life to be. Nobody gets anything. You got to earn it. My rich friends hate it. It's so goofy because I always tell my conservative friends, like I'm pretty I would say that I'm pretty conservative when it comes to like political stuff, you know, fiscal policy, conservative, foreign policy, conservative. I'm extremely liberal when it comes to like social issues, you know, like abortion, gay rights, whatever, super liberal, but pretty conservative when it comes to like fiscal, foreign policy, whatever. But you know what would be hella funny? You know what we really should do? 100% inheritance tax. If you're rich, you're rich. Your kids are not rich. 100% inheritance. 100% inheritance tax. Ooh, trust fund baby sweating a little bit. Trust fund baby sweating a little bit. Uh-oh. Wait, what does that mean? My papa sent me a trust fund. Yo, let's make it let's make it completely meritocratic. You know, the real juice that you should be able to pass on to your kids is how to fucking survive and live. So, 100% inheritance tax. No other taxes other than 100% inheritance tax. No other taxes other than 100% inheritance tax. Sadly, they will figure out a way around it, probably. All right, 18 minutes. Let's go. Kachoya. All right, 16 minutes. Let's go. Camilo says, Kimba, could you tell something about this on your right side? Is it super important? No, it's just order flow. Like, can you see the guy on Bybit right now, like T-whopping? The 103K. It's just sometimes helpful to be able to see that. $15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Yup, what that could mean for you? Oh, I would look at open interest. Yeah, so you can mouse over it, right? Can you tell if that's USDT or USD? Can you tell that that's Bybit BTC USDT? So that's when I would look at the USDT and look at open interest. So clearly that guy is shorting on Bybit BTC USDT. So you can look at the open interest and see what's going to happen. Is that guy shorting into a bull div? Is he the only one that's shorting? Is Binance and OKX and BitMEX shorting as well? That's when you can actually make a conclusion. Remember, observation is not analysis. Saying what you see is not an analytical thought.
Fuck that shit.
Right? So you take that observation and you say, okay, we can see that somebody is T-WAPing on Bybit BTC USDT, right? And then that leads us to, okay, let's take a look at all the other data. Okay, what would be the all other kinds of data that we could look at? Well, are other exchanges shorting? Are other exchanges longing? Is this person shorting into a bull div? Is this person shorting with a bear div? And then what happened in the past when you had those same scenarios? If this is your first time seeing TWAP, you need to pay attention. If this is your first time paying attention to TWAP, while also looking at all the other exchanges, then you need to pay attention. But if you're staring at the chart, I would expect you to be extracting this kind of data. Not just looking at the candles go up and down. Okay? But okay, like somebody is fucking smashing on Bybit BTC USDT. Let me go over to Bybit BTC USDT and take a look at the open interest and CVD divergences. Let me take a look at all the other exchanges. Let me figure out when this exact variable happened 2 weeks ago, what happened then? That's it. Wolf Zero says, what about USDC? What about it? If somebody is opening using USDC, then I'll gladly look at USDC. Is anybody using USDC right now on the right-hand side? Nope. But yeah, it would be the same thing. What is TWAP? Well, if volume, okay, so think about it for a second. What's my number one type of level that I like? Volume, right? What's my number two type of level that I like? Time, right? If VWAP is volume weighted average price, what do you think TWAP is? And this kind of leads me to the thing that I just said is, if you have a question that pops up in your head, do you knee-jerk type it into the Twitch chat, or is it just a Google search away? You know, some people, after hearing time-weighted average price, that's it. That their curiosity has exhausted. It'll stop right there. Other people, they're going to nerd out on that for the whole weekend. And that self-awareness, the self-honesty, the ability to really understand who you're competing against, right? That's so important. Because remember, when you take that trade on Tuesday and you lose, it might have been because somebody else, studied all weekend and you decided to fuck around. So, life is just that way. You got to fight for everything. You got to earn it. Sometimes it's not fair. Yeah. Sometimes, one person might be able to understand Boogammas in 15 minutes. Somebody else, they'll study that shit for 15 months and still not get it. So you got to compete. Got to compete. It's got to mean something to you. Camilo says, oh man, thanks. I will be here more often for sure. Just closed my bad trade, but it's not long story short. I'm starting again with you, no one else. Yeah, Camilo, here's what I would tell you, brother, and this is what we preach here, is there's no such thing as right or wrong. And if you've been in this game long enough, you're going to start to realize that the long or the short that you took, it wasn't necessarily wrong. You just took it too early or too late. All right? We always talk about, and earlier today I gave an example of how your trading journey could have been a lot different the last 2 weeks had you had done everything, the same exact trades that you did on leverage. Imagine if you had done it on spot, right? So for example, even though we got round tripped and we only got a little bit of tiny profit, we tried to short 92, 94, right? and 98. We didn't try to short 96 because we knew 96 was going to get ran over. But there could have been people, a lot of people, that tried to short that and lose money. However, if it was spot, all they would have been doing is realizing profit from the purchase that they made before. So if you really think about it, trading isn't that hard. What happens is you get so greedy, maybe you do a trade on high leverage and you actually juice and you get hooked like a drug addict. It's not the price action, it's not the math, it's not even the profit that you're after. It's that emotional high that you had the first time you juiced on a high leverage trade. You're like a fucking leverage junkie. Okay? You're chasing the dopamine feedback loop is on the high of making a lot of money really fast. And that is the complete inverse opposite of spending time and sacrificing to learn the math. So, what you want to just basically focus on, brother, is take your time with it. There really is no right or wrong. I might be in a long, you might be in a short. We're both going to juice the fuck up. All right? So, if you really understand the ways in which you have to navigate and survive this, it's risk management, discipline, and emotional composure. Sounds good? So let's get it, man. Let's get it. Camilo, many years ago, but when I'm listening, you know, I learned nothing but this year. Now it's time serious trading. Let's do it. Yep. Well, I don't know if you've been watching for the last couple weeks and days, Camilo, but the next level down would be the 100 to 98 zone. And then the next level up would be the 105, right? And then obviously if you want to go further up or further down, I can continue to break those levels down. Do you know how I will decide if I want to long if we get to 198 or if I want to short if we go to 105? It's going to be 3 components, brother. Open interest, structure, and oscillating data, aka divergences. So I would encourage you to find levels that you like, you know, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. I would encourage you to anticipate what kind of data would give you permission to actually take the trade. Remember, the level is where you're thinking about opening the trade. The data actually gives you permission to take the trade. And then, you know, even when you do have pixel perfect bottom long entry or pixel perfect top short, you still need to put your stop loss at break even. You still need to accept the fact that you're probably going to get round tripped. All right. You need to do the right thing and shave and manage your risk. That's it. So, we love you, big dog. Welcome to the Lion's Pride. All right. Cheers to many more weeks and months together. Let's get this juice. You ready? Ka-cha! You got to love it. You have to enjoy this because as soon as it starts to, you're going to get to a point where something doesn't make sense and it's going to require you to spend some time and read something over and over and over. You might be trying to figure out Boo Gammas and it's really, really difficult and boring. You might be trying to figure out open interest CVD correlation and it might be really, really boring. The only way that you're going to be able to push through moments when you just want to quit or give up is if you truly love it. So you might be able to fake it and lie to yourself that you love trading, but maybe you just love gambling. Sooner or later, the truth is going to hit you. So if you love it, then there's nothing that's going to stop you. Gotcha. Glitch says, my shell came in today. I already love it. That's awesome, man. Exclamation merch. Camilo says, I was trading without stop loss. Then you weren't trading at all. You were betting that it was going to go to a level that you thought. You were betting that it wasn't going to, stop you out. You were betting that it wasn't going to liquidate you. Locking my trades for weeks and then double down on losses, a lot of bad stuff. That's okay. Well, the good news is, Camilo, you're saying all the right things that indicate you have all the right markup, Camilo. You're self-aware. You can laugh at yourself. You seem to not have that much of an ego, right? Sounds like you don't have any sort of insecurities. I think you're going to be good to go. And Camilo, please never put another man on a pedestal. Okay? I don't want you to put me on a pedestal because that kind of makes me feel like you think I'm doing something that is special. I'm not. If you put me on a pedestal, I'm going to start thinking that maybe you think I'm doing something you can't do. That's false. I'm just like you guys, okay? Do not put me on a pedestal. Please don't. I'm on the battlefield with you guys. I fight alongside my soldiers. I'm not the king that's in the back hiding. I'm on the battlefield just like you guys. I get slapped around. I might take some losses, okay? The whole thing is to just not take a giant loss. That's really the only thing we're trying to do. And the math should work itself in our favor where we can be net profitable if we can do that. So, Camilo, I'm not here to pitch you a premium signals Telegram group. We don't have one. I'm not here to sell you a blood diamond green mushroom indicator. I don't have one. I don't need you to gift me subs or donate. I gift subs to you guys. All right? I'm just here to hang out and learn from my mistakes and get better just like you. All right, Camilo? Sometimes people don't understand this and they get really insecure and they get triggered and they have this whole narrative in their brain like, why does Kimba think he's better than me? He's not better than me. It's like, bro, I never said that. Like, what's going on with you? So yeah, I'm not doing anything special, brother. I would say that in 3 months, if you watch me every day, you're going to know everything that I know. All right? So I think mastering the math, mastering the knowledge, mastering the TA, the probabilities, whatever, hella easy. Mastering yourself, good luck. I'm not even joking. That shit is hard. So I feel like 99% of traders that are having a hard time trading, they understand that it's not a math thing. It's a they thing. You know, like it's a them versus them. They're somehow, some way not able to stop making the same mistakes over and over, or they just can't adapt and learn. So let's get it. Ka-chai. Hudson says, we have some Brazilian lions here. Hey, we're fucking baking pão de queijo every fucking morning, man. Okay? It's pão de queijo. Am I saying that right, Brazilians? Açaí and a little bit of tapioca in the morning every day, Hudson. I probably say obrigado more than thank you. Ka-chai! But we're international, man. We got Brazilians. We got all sorts of Latin American people. We got all sorts of Europeans. We got all sorts of Asian people. Isn't that crazy? Different ages, different religions, different races, different beliefs, different life experiences. But our passion to want to get better at this trading thing, brings us all here. So that's pretty cool. Happy 420, you good, big dog? Happy 420 says, steady as they come. Not many out there are like you, though. Well, thank you for the kind words. Happy 420. But I'm looking at roughly 900 people that are just like me. So, yeah. A fisherman can spot another fisherman from afar. Let's go. Toasted Zergling says, don't pronounce pow like pow. That's a very different word. Oh, I know. I even said that like last year. Because when baby girl is asking for pow, I know she's not asking for bread. Baguette in my hand, but not the bread. Baguette in my hand, but not the bread. Yeah, I know. Trust me, Zergling. I mean, think about it. For like 3 hours, I thought pau de queijo was like cheese dick. I didn't get it. I didn't understand what it was. All right, ladies and gentlemen, clap, clap, clap. U.S. markets are closed, y'all. U.S. markets are closed, y'all. Let's go. Camilo says, Kimba, could I ask one more question? Of course, brother. I'm going to be wrapping it up, but I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, pre-market to U.S. market close. I've been here every day for the last 3 years.
Motherfucker, the math is the math.
So, Camilos, exclamation YouTube. All right. If you, every single day's streams, highlights are on the YouTube, okay? 3 years worth. So exclamation YouTube. If you ever miss a stream or you show up late, you can always just pop in and rewind and get caught up. All right? But there's 3 years worth of CPIs. There's 3 years worth of FOMC. There's 3 years worth of gaps. There's 3 years worth of this, that, and this. And you're going to notice that we've been doing the same shit for the last 3 years, chat. The math is the math and the juice is the juice. Malgus says, are you doing any nerd out stuff post-market, Kimba? Or can I go start watching CPI highlights? You can go start watching FOMC highlights, Malgus. I'm actually going to be ending the stream pretty soon here. I need to go render this AI model. Because every time I try to do it with OBS running, it crashes it. So we did a little bit of nerding out, Malgus. I don't know if you got to see anything. I mean, the levels are the levels, brother. So this is all the levels to the upside that we have. Okay, if you zoom in on smaller time frame, you can clearly see what's happening. Okay, here's Sol. But what I would encourage you to do is take a look at fixed range volume profiles. Think about putting anchor VWAP on some highs and lows that you like. Obviously, mark out single prints and bad highs and bad lows for the altcoin that you're interested in, Malgus. There is a chance that I'm going to do altcoin nerd out maybe tomorrow or Sunday. I'll be testing the V2 layout all weekend. So if I see something nice, or there's a bunch of lions online, I might pop in and say something. But if you've been able to watch me the last couple weeks, Malgus, I'm not going to do anything different than what I've been doing. Volume, time-based levels, mathematical levels. Okay? The only thing that I will probably do a little bit differently than any other week is that I'm going to be really focused on S&P confluence since it's a CPI week. So, and the other thing too, to maybe even a extra variable to think about is CPI, which is usually on a Wednesday, is actually on Tuesday next week. So that gives you a little bit more credence to thinking about a 105 SFP or a Trident at 100. So do you think initial move is going to be a debate on Tuesday morning? If so, if you have a bad high or a bad low through the weekend price action and the Monday price action, it might be, worth it to be patient. Does that make sense, Malgus? I was doing that all day today thanks to Mandolo's Addis video. That's awesome, Malgus. So I would just work your way backwards. Malgus, when I say initial move is a debate, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you think that's going to happen on Tuesday? What is some data points that we've been talking about for the last 2 years that can indicate if it's going to be a debate or not? Right? Have you been able to take a look at the last couple like Sunday ETHs? We were talking earlier about Sunday ETHs. So I don't really give a fuck what it does tonight. I don't really give a shit what it does tomorrow. But but on Sunday, right around 2-3 hours before ETH open, I'm going to come back to the charts. I'm going to see what it did over the weekend. Is the high good? Is the low good? What are the probabilities and chances that an unfinished zone is going to get cleaned up on Tuesday?
It's over.
So I could take a 105 SFP short. I could take a 100 long. Yeah, but you do know that on the higher time frame, I'm looking for at least 130, 140 minimum. So I would much prefer to continue to look into getting into longs. The only shorts that I'm going to take all the way up until 150 is going to be hedge shorts, so that basically I feel like I'm responsibly swinging for a home run. You have two options, right? You can either close and shave and realize a long, or you can let the entirety of the long run and do a hedge short. Either way, it's the same thing. So it just depends on, are you leaning a little bit more towards wanting to realize and get out of the position, or are you leaning a little bit more towards keeping it and holding on to it? So we'll continue to do the same thing that we've been doing for the last couple weeks and months. Make sure you pay attention. We're going to get this juice. Tone Amp says, Kimba, can you explain why would anyone buy BTC on CME right before close of the week? If your question is why this, why that, the answer is you're never going to know. Do you think that we're going to know for 100% certainty why anybody bought CME on Friday? How could we ever possibly know for 100% certainty? So why even ask that question, Tone Amp? Instead of asking, why would anybody buy here? Why would anybody sell here? How about we let the price action and the data come through, and since we know based off of open interest where they opened or where they closed, we can look at the data and continue to adjust our probabilities on if it's gonna go higher or lower. Okay? Specifically to answer your question, I don't know if you know this, but CME is Chicago Mercantile Exchange. People are going to de-risk before the weekend. So if you were in a fucked up short, you're probably not going to hold that bitch over the weekend. You're going to close it, which is going to look like a market buy. But in general, brother, the last 2 hours of Friday market close, you shouldn't really pay attention to it. I mean, you don't want to be too dismissive of it, but for the most part, my Wall Street friends, after they leave for lunch, they don't come back into the office. So, okay. All right, Lions. Well, I think we're going to have to wrap it up here. My audio is not working, so I can't play any of the outro music. But I think that'll be okay because there's a very good chance that I'll be streaming over the weekend. So we'll probably regroup over the weekend. If I pop in like Saturday afternoon, or I'm thinking Sunday evening to maybe just see like an hour or two with you guys when CME opens, how many of you guys would be here for that? Like CME resumption shit on Sunday. What do you guys think? Because who gives a like? If I showed up on Saturday, dude, whatever we fucking talk about on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night,
he just told us
do
to be
you guys
prepared.
even really give a shit? Like, cause I don't. Who gives a fuck about Saturday's scalp ideas? We should just wait until Sunday ETH, right? And then see how it's reacting at the gap if there is one. Like some grown man shit. So I don't know if I would really be able to contribute anything of value on Saturday. So I think Sunday CME resumption is probably the most useful time to kick it together, right? We could do like the craziest TA on Saturday and it could be completely wrong 5 minutes after I leave, right? That low volume shit, I just don't know if there's any value. So I say that we relax, chill out, you know, not get too crazy trying to scalp on a Saturday. Be patient. Let the price action determine where the volume and the momentum is. And then on Sunday ETH, if we want to, if the gap is good enough or if the div is good enough, right, then we can take the gap play. If it's not, or if the low or the high is bad, then we'll wait for RTH. But we'll trust the basic strategy RTH play and we'll go with it on Monday. All right. Happy 420, you good? QLEX says, maybe just sing it for us before you head out. How do I say goodbye when it feels so right? Never mind. Don't sing it. Don't sing it. Just get out of here. Never mind. Don't sing, for God's sakes. Fuck. Thank God you can trade. Jesus Christ. Gotcha. What I will do though is maybe one big Latuche. All right, Lions, I'm proud of us. I'm proud of each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys can, you know, reset emotionally, physically, mentally over the weekend. Remember, I don't need you guys to be the best. I just need your best. So Monday is probably our last chance to kind of do our thing. Tuesday, let's juice the fuck up. CPI, PPI week. You guys good? Tonem says, I didn't mean why they would do it. Obviously, we can't say why, but my question included a lot more, which you maybe didn't get because of the AI. The last letter was the main question regarding margin. Let me see what you said, Tonem. Yeah, but most of the time, you're going to see traditional markets closing positions. Isn't the risk quite big that when CME opens on Sunday that they get margin called? Oh, yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I mean, traditional markets, you're going to de-risk on Friday. That's like by the book shit. Yeah, I've had friends get, you know, demoted or fired, you know, from like prestigious firms because they left shit open over a weekend when they were told specifically to close it before. Mr. Trickster, thank you for the resub. All right, you guys. Shall we bow out? Let's go get that Latuche, and then we'll bow out, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, but what a day, what a week, man. Kachaya! Is this still fibbing? What a slow ass day. That's Friday for you, chat. Jesus Christ. How do I say goodbye? Chat, I love you guys, man. Ace, let's go, Ace. Shout out Texas. Hey, Camilo's trade. Love you, big dog. I'll see you on Monday. Am I right, Camilo? Camilo says, I'm feeling myself like a part of your team. You are, brother. Are you somebody that can root for other people, even if things aren't going good for you? Are you somebody that can stay emotionally composed? Are you somebody that likes to make decisions based off of data and not feeling? Are you somebody that enjoys the process of becoming successful at trading than actually being successful? Well, you're a lion, brother. You may not have been physically here, but your spirit was always here, brother. We were waiting for you. Let's get it, big dog. Welcome. Welcome. Lemonade, you good? Happy Friday. Tone Emp, let's go. Tone Emp says, okay, thanks, man. Was just looking at Delta on CME BTC, and it went positive at RTH close. That kind of makes sense, right, Tone Emp? The shorters were really hoping, right? They didn't get what they wanted, and they just decided to de-risk right at close. Moses, let's go. The way it is. It's my pleasure. Tone Emp, love you, big dog. Camilo, let's go. Huds, let's go. Lemonade, I won. Pedro, all right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. Cheers, y'all. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we just had a SpaceX launch because I feel like I just got rocketed into space. Kachoy? All right, you guys. Lou, Grimes, Seeking, Zazy, happy 420. Camilo says at weekend I will try to set up chart and high block. Awesome, Camilo. By the way, Camilo, you are never alone, okay? You make sure you're in the Discord, !Discord. In fact, this weekend, I'm going to be making some Discord upgrades as well. Yeah. Hey, the Discord could be a lot better, huh? Yeah, Cage and I, we need to get on that shit. You're going to be sleeping all weekend? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, but make sure you're in the Discord, Camilo. All right? !Discord. Martin says, damn, I lost all 48K points on the candle prediction. That's okay. We're going to have what we call the great nuking. So we're going to probably reset the channel points here in a little bit. That being said, before we reset it, I'm going to give people a chance to redeem some of the points. Because pretty soon here, you're going to be able to redeem your channel points for merch, for money, for gifted subs. Imagine showing up to a stream. Like this is normal right now, right? But right now, you have to show up on stream and you have to be like, can somebody give me a sub? Can somebody, please, sir, may I have some Oliver Twist shit? But imagine you're actually a strong viewer. Yo, you never need to ask that shit. Kimba, can I have a sub? I got liquidated yesterday. I can't afford. You don't need to tell me that. Just go redeem it with your 10,000 Kimba channel points. Easy. And then Kimba AI is going to gift you a sub. It's not that hard. Kachoy. Next level shit. Quit playing with me, chat. Merch with points would be so awesome. It's already on the way. But to be honest, it takes a little bit more. I can't just code my part. I need fourth wall integration. So, yeah, what you can do right now is you can redeem your channel points to trigger a merch giveaway. But I haven't been able to figure out a way yet where I can directly. It's almost like I have to hack a giveaway and then make it so that somebody wins that giveaway. They don't have a way for me to like directly give it to somebody for free. Unless then I make like a promotional or a discount code for 100%. But then like anybody can use that code. But anyways. But pretty cool though, right? Yeah, so there might be like a reset point. But if we are going to reset the points, then I'll definitely make sure that people that have a lot, you guys can redeem it. Zerp says, so I can get a monthly sub with 10,000 Kimba points? Yeah, basically. In the future, you'll be able to, yeah. Have you noticed that I have gotten rid of stream elements, Nightbot, bot tricks, all of those like little streamer helping bots? Have you noticed that Kimba AI has officially taken over most of the stuff? Like when you type exclamation MEXC or exclamation blowfin, have you noticed that it's not Nightbot or stream elements anymore? It's Kimba AI. Right? And then how many of you guys have noticed the introduction of the Kimba AI character? Whether it's in Trump form or Chad form, or I'm hoping next week, the actual Kimba Lion form. So it's not that hard to make it so that you can spend channel points and then make Kimba AI gift you a sub. That's schwiggity schwaggity. You know what the coolest thing is going to be? Like the biggest channel point redemption will be like a 20-minute Discord conversation with me about whatever you want to talk about. I think that's going to be dope too. And speaking of that, I'm actually going to be testing bringing guests on stream next week. So you guys really need to make sure that you're in the Discord and you can navigate around that thing. I mean, I fucking hate Discord, okay? And I know some of you guys hate it too. It's what we have to deal with right now. So a lot of giveaway stuff, a lot of cooperation stuff, all right? If you guys, I'm going to do some custom intro videos, okay? So, like, there might be an animation where I'm driving a Bugatti convertible, right? And I have the overlay set, so it's going to video capture people in PSG. So every morning, right before the stream starts, you can go into PSG, you can turn your webcam on, and you will be part of the intro animation that always plays while I'm taking my morning shit. You know what I'm talking about? Chat, you know what I'm talking about? My routine, I wake up, I chug my egg whites, I eat my half cup of oatmeal, I come over to the computer, I click start stream, and then I go take my morning shit, I brush my teeth, get my coffee, and then by then the 15-minute countdown has passed, and that's when I go, Kachoya! Good morning, everybody! But you know that 15-minute intro, right? So if you want, get your ass into PSG, get into Discord, turn your webcam on, and it's gonna look like you're in the back of the Bugatti convertible with me. It's gonna look like you're in the private plane with me heading to Lithuania. Token Tickler says, warms my heart knowing you are taking a shit during the time. Yeah, is it 100% guaranteed? It's a game. This is a game of probabilities, Token Tickler. Okay? Am I taking a shit 100% of the time every day? No. Man9 says, when toilet cam? You know what my homies call me? Dude, I shit a lot. My digestive system is quick. I'm shitting at least 3-4 times a day. Have you guys noticed that if I'm not in front of the webcam, if I'm not in front of the computer, the lion like stands still?
What the hell is even that?
Because it has no motion to detect. If the lion is still for more than 5 minutes, I'm probably shitting. But yeah, dude, I've got a healthy digestive system. I have one buddy, like, he can't shit, dude. It's crazy. He shits like twice a week. I thought he was gonna die when we were in middle school. I was like, dude, all that shit is in your body building up, dude. I don't know how you're alive. But anyways, like, so my nickname amongst like my homies, like my friends call me the Porcelain Punisher, because I just be punishing that porcelain, chat. But I just need to bring that up. The Porcelain Punisher, chat. Moses says, sir shit a lot. No, I mean, those are easy. Those are easy. I'm sure before the Porcelain Punisher, we went through sir shit a lot. Yeah. But like the nicknames are legit though. Like you gotta, have you guys heard of, what was that joke? You guys hear about how like, well, first off, have you guys heard about this thing that Trump has now where like if you have enough money, and the thing is actually called the US Gold Card. I feel like we're in a fucking movie. But like if you're rich enough, if you have enough money, you can get like, you can buy your way into a citizenship, you know, like an accelerated citizenship program. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's 5 mil, 1 mil. I can't remember, but Trump was talking about doing another one. Trump is talking about doing another one. Trump was saying how if you're an illegal immigrant, okay, Trump said that if you're an illegal immigrant, what you need to do is you need to catch and either find or kill 5 child predators, right? And he was gonna call it Alien versus Predator. Kachoy! Kachoy! Alien versus Predator, chat. Ka-choy. So yeah, they were saying how if you're an illegal immigrant, an illegal alien, he said that if you catch, find, or kill 5 sexual predators, then you can become a citizen. Babooma says, Kimba, can I ask what's the order book tool on the left and right of your stream? Is it on ExoCharts too? That's a negative. So Boo Boo May, the first thing that I want to tell you is every single tool that I use is listed in the Discord tools section with significant discount codes, and also the tools section on Kimba Dashboard, the website. Okay, so exclamation dashboard, exclamation tools, exclamation Discord. Okay, everything that I use, including things that I don't even have permission to stream. Did you know that I have tools that I use that I don't have permission to stream? The people ask me, please don't stream this. So there's stuff that I use that I don't even stream, but all that shit is in the tools section. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now, to answer your question specifically, the far left thing, that's called Bookmap. Exclamation Bookmap. It is a aggregated order book platform. Okay? So in the column, the numbers that you see, the red and the green numbers that you see on the column on the right-hand side, right? Those are limit orders. So can you see, for example, at the very, very bottom, there's, I mean, it's changing, but there's 70 Bitcoin longing 102,920. Okay? Or can you see all the way up at the top? Look all the way up at the top. 103,600. There's 14.28. So between Binance, Bybit, OKX, BitGet, BitMEXC, all the biggest derivative exchanges, it's combining the order book. So if you went to Binance, if you went to Bybit, if you went to OKX, if you went to BitGet, if you went to BitMEXC, and you added up all of the short limit orders that you had at 103,600, it would be 14.86. Okay? So those are aggregate limit orders. Okay? Obviously, the red ones are fucking short limit orders. The green would be the longs. Okay? Now, the circles are market orders. So obviously, a red circle is a sell. A green circle is a buy. The bigger the circle, the bigger the size of the position. Okay? So what you're seeing are market orders reacting against limit orders. And in a nutshell, that is what we call CVD, cumulative volume delta. I don't know if you are, up to speed on what divergences are, but I love trading CVD divergences. It's one of my primary edges that allow me to have edge on if I'm going to be opening a trade. Okay? The analogy that I like to give, the metaphor that I like to give is think about limit orders as a wall. Okay? So maybe you're a bullish king, maybe you're a bearish king. Okay? But imagine you're a king up in your castle, and you see all these trebuchets, catapults, siege weapons, all right, surrounding your castle, and they start lobbing shit at your wall. Okay? Wouldn't it be important to be able to look at the impact and say, wow, my wall is going to hold up? Or wouldn't it be important to be able to say, oh my God, whoever fucking designed these walls, we're fucked. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Evacuate everybody. And that basically is what CVD divergences are. So I don't know if you're ready for this yet, but definitely this is how you can see if there's bullish exhaustion going on. Is the bullish movement starting to slow down? Okay? Is the bullish movement getting absorbed? Okay? So this would be like this would be like I'm in a castle and they've been trying to break in for fucking 3 weeks and they're getting tired. Okay? This absorption would be like they're giving it, the opposite side is giving it everything they got and we're not fucking moving. So sometimes it can be a sign of strength and sometimes it can be a sign of weakness. And sometimes it could be a strength for the bulls. Sometimes it can be weakness for the bulls. Sometimes it can be strength for the bears. And sometimes it can be weakness for the bears. And that's why you have 4 scenarios. Ka-cha! Yeah? Math is the math and juice is the juice. All right, it looks like it just pixel fucking. I gotta get out of here. Coyote, you good? Mood Digital says, Kimba, what would you say about ETH at the moment? I'm so tempted to say nothing has really changed about ETH for the last couple weeks, but I am gonna tell you that because I really want to stress the idea of having higher time frame plans and being prepared so you don't get surprised or shocked or end up starting to get bullish when it's at the fucking top. In my personal opinion, brother, ETH is not worthy of a long until ETH BTC is bullish. Why? Because ETH BTC being bullish is going to indicate that if Bitcoin is going to pump, ETH will pump harder. If Bitcoin is going to dump, ETH will dump less, right? And so the opposite is the same, yes? If ETH BTC is bearish, then that means that it's better to allocate more capital to Bitcoin, right? Because if Bitcoin is going to pump, ETH will pump less. And if Bitcoin dumps, ETH will dump harder. So just common sense tells us that for me to, allocate more money to altcoins or shit coins or meme coins or whatever the fuck against Bitcoin, it needs to be bullish. So for me, ETH BTC on the higher time frame is still not bullish for me. Do you realize that Bitcoin is pretty close to its all-time high and ETH is nowhere fucking near it? You would have made more money, way more money in the Bitcoin long than the ETH long. Like from start to finish. So, for me, brother, nothing has changed, meaning I'm still keeping an eye on ETH, BTC. So here's the thing, bro. Us Lions, we've been watching ETH BTC since September of 2022. We've been in this trend line, right? So do you remember how I interpreted ETH BTC to be bullish all these months and all these weeks? I wasn't even buying. Like I actually did it once, right? If you remember. But most of these I didn't even buy. And it was above the orange line. So I rather wait for the sweep. I feel like, and this is ETH BTC, so it doesn't mean that this is going to be the same as ETH USDT having the lowest price. No. You can be in an ETH long right now. You totally could. And you might have a better entry now than when ETH BTC actually does the clean and the sweep structure of the low. But I've always, for the last 3 years almost, right, since September 2022, I said I'm only going to long ETH when ETH BTC becomes bullish. I only truly consider ETH BTC to be bullish if it's above the orange trend line and it's changing structure. So, do you remember here? We were like, dude, it's still just making lower highs. This is fucked. It has to clean that at least. And it never could do it. So yeah. ETH gained ground last 2 days. Some people are gonna think ETH is bullish. For me, it just proves that it's hella bearish. I don't know. It's weird, right? I don't really care to trade this shit, dude. This shit should be right here with Bitcoin. This is fucked, dude, in my opinion. I think I'm looking at this and this is fucked. This is really bad, in my opinion. I don't know how you look at this and go, yo, this is hella good. What? Yeah. So for me, brother, nothing has changed. And am I going to miss out on like little moves like this? Yes. That's okay. Right? But I'm always going to base my ETH decision off of identifying ETH BTC as bullish. And then I'll do the same thing. And honestly, like, whether it's this shit, whether it's, the 105 to 72 that we talked about in December, or, ES going to here, or cleaning the funky low, or maybe even getting the 45 hundo. Always have like a higher time frame plan that you can execute or follow along, I think. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know. I'm so like I said, like nothing has changed for me. Show me this is bullish, change structure, get above orange line, make higher highs and higher lows, and I'm in this bitch. 100%. Right? But you do understand that if ETH BTC is bearish, that means that if Bitcoin pumps, ETH pumps less. If Bitcoin dumps, ETH dumps harder. So it all starts with everybody's interpretation of what do they see ETH BTC as. Because if you want ETH BTC to be bullish if you're going to allocate capital to ETH. I hope that makes sense. It's just common sense, right? So that's why taking the long on ETH was Gucci now, because ETH BTC got bullish. So I just want to make sure that, like, it's not going to be like another, lower high, and we're going to eventually get this. And that's what I've been waiting for, is these lows to get cleaned. Like a almost complete fucking reset, because this is ETH BTC historically. Just take a look at it. It's like these you might have these, this is altcoin season, right? You have these incremental moves in between like crazy jumps. Doink, doink, doink. So clearly, if it can do that, great. Then show me. Break out of that orange line. Let's change it. But in this context, clean, solidify. You might even get one more, to be honest, later on down the road. Clip that, Azaz. But if you're paying attention to the ETH BTC, like it's cycle by cycle. So it's dink, 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 dink. So this is what I'm interested in trying to capture, because I know that when I get it, it's bink, bink. And that's the one that I would much rather focus on and put my effort into and not fuck up. But there's nothing wrong with scalping longs. There's nothing wrong with scalping shorts. There's nothing wrong with, getting in on a little juice. ETH longs, the last 48 hours, mega juice. Mega juice. This much worth of juice. Whatever the ETH BTC is, right? Because this is how much more ETH pumped than Bitcoin. That's basically what this is, right? This is how much more than Bitcoin, or how much less than Bitcoin ETH is going to dump or pump. So, when you ask me, what do you think about ETH? It's hard not to say nothing has changed for me, but do you understand why? Happy 420 says, I like that you showed this one of my first days here, and I made coins make so much more since that day. Nice. Mark says, the perfect staircase to hell. Steberi says, the all-time high was almost 5K. Bitcoin is your all-time high. Well, he says, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so for me, if anything, some people are going to look at ETH and be like, oh, it's a really bullish. For me, it just kind of confirms how bearish it is. Kozaks, thank you for the resub. Man9 says Sato took Juicin with ETH long. He did. But you know what's dope though, Man9? First off, risk management. So how much did we lose in the end, Man9? The initial 100K deposit. We're up 2.1 million. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's like 1.7. I don't know. I really actually honestly haven't added everything up. But I mean, we have at least the 900K that he lost on that one day, and we took it from him. So we're still, let's say worst case scenario, we're only up 1.5 million counter trading Sato, and we lost 100K. Did you see that we did a live deposit of 250,000? And remember, I'm willing to give back at least $500,000. That was kind of the deal that I talked to him. Do you remember when him and I talked? Were you, I don't know like how many of you guys actually saw all this, or you guys understand how much of this planned, but I said, I told him he can get up to $500,000. So 500K is how much we're willing to give back. Yeah, we depoted another 250,000, baby. Yeah, but I feel like it's worth it. because maybe not, but like now, like, once in a while, like Sato will message me and it's kind of cool, and I don't think we would have ever truly connected like that had we not made Juicin. In a weird way, he has gotten better at reading data, having stop loss, and taking profit. And, it has given me access to thousands of Korean viewers that we would have never had. And now I can see what they're saying. And it took us like 2.5 weeks to get like the translation ready to go because the CoinNerd AI couldn't read Korean. So even though we knew who to track and what they said in the Juicin channel, if they were speaking in Korean in Sato's channel, right? Like it had to be translated really well first and correctly. We couldn't just push it through like the Google Translate API, right? Before the CoinNerd AI could process, okay, this guy's a dumbass, this guy is good, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, this guy's new, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so, I mean, I technically am just giving back his own money, so in a way can't lose, and I feel like it's a net positive, In a weird way, Sato is getting better, right? I'm getting access to the data that I wanted. Instead of me just giving Sato 500,000, like whether or not he's really earning it, like I think it's better for him to build confidence and get it this way. Yeah, I think if you look at it, it's a net positive, so we'll continue to do it as long as it's net positive. Yeah. Pretty soon, I think, so I'm supposed to get hooked up with ZZap next. Yeah, I'm sure now that I know like what is possible and what isn't and what somebody like Sato might be looking for, instead of reaching out to him after he loses everything, now I know like what kind of deals and, relationship forming we can do with like ZZap or Hodu. Sato is part of the gang. He is. Yes, sir. Kagum says, what data do you get from these streams? Well, it's targeted sort of. I think it's called targeted extraction. There's another word for it that we specifically use at my work, but if I told you, you could Google it, and then I would basically be doxing myself. But you're trying to get what you want out of the person in the most effortless way possible. So like back in the day, like when I used to work at like Facebook, and this is like decade ago plus, like, we were thinking about how can we, because basically at its core, it was like a PsyOps product, right? So what we were doing is we were squeezing on the two most vulnerable personality traits, narcissism and voyeurism, right? And even before like YouTube had it studied and figured it out, we knew that the population is usually 2% narcissist and about 98% voyeurist, right? So most people just want to consume. They're voyeuristic, right? Like you guys want to, look at Jay-Z's Instagram or this celebrity's life or this and that. You're voyeuristic. You want to watch, right? And then you've got the narcissists that are perfect for creating the content for you, right? So the hot girl that is super insecure. So she's going to take a bunch of photos and post them up so that she can feel like she's cool, right? And then you do things like adding a little thumb, like a like button, or you do it so that people can leave replies. Well, now there's a feedback loop, right? So now the girl is gonna upload the best picture of herself, right? So the quality of the content is now self-prophesizingly incentivized, and so you've got this natural ecosystem, and it's both sides are just feeding each other. So the narcissist is going to give feedback to the content creator, the narcissist is going to feed the voyeurist. The voyeurist gets what they want. They give them the feedback loop with a like or a reply, right? Validation, basically psychological. And then that person is incentivized to have even more content and have even the best content that they can make. So it's like the pictures of girls. It's going to be the best pictures of them, right? It's not going to be one where they look bad. So it's this like feedback. So it's the same thing with like chat, Kagum. Do you think that the person that is in a really, really juicy trade and profiting a lot, do you think that person is going to have certain things that they'll say comparable to somebody that is in a losing position about to get stopped out or liquidated? Can you understand that what people say during those emotionally stressful moments give a very big insight into who they really are? Word choice, articulation, right? And then with a little bit of machine learning and language learning, you can figure out people that are usually frustrated use these types of words. People that are euphoric use these types of words. People that are desperate use these types of words. And it's just like the feedback loop that I was saying. Usually, and it's like dogs too, right? The ones that are, the most vulnerable are the loudest. Does that make sense? So if somebody is just spamming something or is continuously saying something, it might actually indicate more of a lack of confidence or more of an insecurity than somebody that actually is confident. You can figure out, like, is that person like just seeking validation? Does this person emotionally make decisions? Does this person articulate their logical thought process really well? Lots of different ways, but the biggest data point is who talks the most, who can't help themselves. You know what I mean? Like that chick that's super insecure that's going to post photos of every party she goes to. So she feels like she's cool and people can tell her how cool she is. And really, at the end of the day, I feel like trading is just a quantification, a mathematical expression of human mass psychology. So to be able to analyze what people said, how they said it, when they said it, I think it kind of gives you a little bit of an edge. Yeah, but that being said, this whole project, it really doesn't have anything to do with trading. One of the startups that I don't really do day-to-day stuff there anymore, but like I'm an investor and I have a really big chunk of equity in it, and like it has a crazy big valuation already. So what I'm really hoping for is this startup, gets like a really nice, couple billy M&A. Have you noticed that Amazon has shitty ads? Do you understand that the difference between Google and many other companies that have tried to do search engines or content is that Google AdSense and their delivery mechanism is like no other? Like Google is king when it comes to online advertising. Do you know that? And you know that Amazon is bleeding hundreds of millions of dollars on Twitch every year because their ad department sucks. Did you know that Amazon recently bought Whole Foods, which is a grocery store chain in America? So if you could read what a user was saying in Twitch chat, and not just in one channel, but everywhere. Combine that with their Amazon purchase history, and combine that with Amazon Prime, Whole Foods, so they basically know what you like to eat. I feel like they can put a lot of data around your ass. So my end game, to be honest, I would love an M&A, get like 300 milli, selling a AI-based ad deployment system for Amazon to use for Twitch and all other products, and ride off into the sunset. The crypto and the trading stuff is kind of just like bonus. So, data. And then, I have like a couple friends that also, kind of cross over into crypto. So we were like, hey, let's just like see what it would be like to do sentiment analysis on crypto stream viewers. And to be honest, most of the juiciest data I get comes from outside of this community. As you can probably imagine. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but have you guys ever seen like Carl the Moon's podcast? Dude, there are some people in there that has like a 93% like counter trading efficiency. Like, this guy is always wrong. Like, if he says do this, do the opposite, you have a 93% chance for the last 2.5 years of being right. Like, it's insane. And like, he fucking shows up every single time like clockwork and can't help himself. He can't shut the fuck up. It's incredible. So it's all out there. It's just about like, the data. Yeah, but it's really cool though. Look, like every single one of you guys can sign up and make 5 Twitch accounts, get an open source scraping library, right? Put those, and the reason why you're putting you made the 5 accounts is because you're not even using an API. What the fuck? Yo, I'm going to reformat my PC this weekend. This is ass. Fucking hate Windows. Okay, anyways. I19 says counter trade Carl the Moon. It's not really about the streamer, but about the individual. And it's not even about the specific streamer. It's about why that specific viewer found comfort in that streamer's environment to just be a complete dumbass and consistently show up and be wrong and feel safe there. That's the real interesting piece of information. But yeah, shout out Carl though, man. I19, you good? Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Wolf Zero, Manaka, Fernanzi, Fibmath, Cage, Voltex, Oman, I1, Danny. Danny says, thanks for the stream, boss. Great weekend. You too, Danny. All right, let me wrap it up too. Aurum, you good? Aurum says, guys, today for the Bitcoin price. Jupy, let's go. Amanello.
There.
Wolf
Yes.
Zero says, enjoy the weekend, bro. I will enjoy the weekend, but I'm going to be working on V2 all weekend. And I will find enjoyment in that. So you too, Wolf Zero. Hey, Monday is the last day before CPI, which means we're probably going to be taking a shot. So even if I get into a position on over the weekend or Sunday ETH, I'm probably going to be adding or taking another shot on Monday as well. So I'll be here pre-market. We'll get that 15-second alpha. Probably going to just be, are we heading down towards 90? Or excuse me, 100 if we're nuking. We're not nuking, but going down. And is it going to be an SFP of 105 if we're going up? So beyond that, I would probably just wait until RTH on Monday. If it's within those constraints, variables, then long or short will be acceptable for me. Let's go, Miguel. Let's go. Martin says, yo, Kimba, what is the meaning of life? Well, we could go with the number from the movie. I could say some shit like, to juice the fuck up. But I would just say to enjoy every moment that you have in this consciousness. You know, who knows what happens after, right? Maybe there is a heaven, maybe there is a hell, maybe there is reincarnation. Maybe it's just cellular death and it's black, pitch black. There's nothing. I don't know. Maybe there's some spiritual, religious shit. Whatever you believe, you know, don't wait for that shit. Live in the moment. It's now. Juice. Ayo Gain says, damn it, am I muted? I just asked something similar. No. No, what did you ask? I didn't even see it, dude. Gomez says, thanks, Kimba. I think sometimes people don't understand how much you help for the gang. I don't know if I am helping. That's awesome. Honestly, that's what I want to do. That's what I try to do. I'm just here to hang out with you guys, kick it with you guys. But thank you for the kind words, Gomez. And we've just begun, Gomez. I think that's the most exciting thing for me. I'm just fucking finishing the overlays, brother. So we need to get like automated giveaways going. We just talked about channel redemption points getting reset. We're going to have co-streamers. We're going to have different types of interactions with you guys, mainly like Friday Q&A, bringing people in from Discord, really working together, really emphasizing. I think the next phase is we have the foundation. We have the floor for the mansion of Kimba Gang. I think the next phase is going to be integrating into the community. You know, so bringing you guys onto the stream, Q&As, interviews, podcast format, etc., etc. So that's going to be coming up, and then we're going to have structured educational content. Because you know what I want is I want to be able to tell a lion cub, somebody that says, hey, I have no fucking clue what this is. I've never traded. How do I start? And I want to be able to say, yeah, just go to Discord. It's going to automatically take you to chapter 1. It's going to tell you all the shit that you need to know. You know, it's not going to be everything, but it should be a simple guide to at least here's what I would expect you to be able to understand and know when you come to the stream type of shit. And if you've already been watching for a week or two, you already know what it's going to be. Figure out what the levels are. How do I find the levels? Volume-based, time-based, math-based, right? When you get to that level, how do I know if I should actually open a long or a short? Well, data. What kind of data? Well, there's 8 different, 9 different, 10 different maybe, depending on what you want to include from S&P and the traditional market side. But let's just call it 8 to 10 pieces of data. You know, you need to know how to look at and read all of that data. And then you can try to put together a plan. You know, instead of using all 8 or all 9, you can choose 2 or 3. Anticipate that data. If you see it, take it. If you don't see it, don't take it. Try to really keep it simple and then, you know, build upon. Yeah, but my goal is to really go super try hard, because I've never really gone try hard streaming. I've always been super spoiled by you guys. I've only had to ban maybe 3-4 people myself, and they've all been spammers. You know, I have an incredible moderation and administration team that handles all the banning, all the unbanning. Shout out Houston on the support tickets. Shout out Antonia helping people out. Shout out Swapbeezy on the sites. Shout out MGK on the highlights. All I've had to do the last 3 years is show up, click start stream, and stop stream. I've been extremely spoiled by the Kimba gang community. So now I think it's time for me to try hard as well and put together some educational content, right? Show up on Saturday and do some Boo Gamma nerd outs, right? Starting next week, I'm going to slowly implement programmed scheduling. So on Wednesdays, I'm going to start the stream, but it's not going to be like a normal start. Mic might be muted. No, it won't be muted. So you can hear me talk, but I'm not going to read the chat. I'm just going to be live trading. You're going to see my chart. That's it. I mean, my exchange. So you can see my position, and that's it. I'm not going to pull fibs on S&P. I'm not showing single prints. I'm not doing that. You guys are just seeing my exchanges, my positions, my entries, my stop loss. That's it. And then we'll regroup, and then I can explain. And if you have questions, you can ask. But we're going to start to have scheduled programming, you know, less freestyling. All right? Because let's be real, like 60, 70, fucking 80% sometimes of the day, I'm just bumping music, lettucing up, you know, and yelling who Juicin. There's really only like an hour or 2, maybe 3 hours of actual question and answering and TA, and because the thing is, like, we're not fucking trading the 1-minute candles. So we have to wait for 30-minute candle closes, right? And that shit takes time. So, but Revs QQ says that's going to be a good way to test our knowledge. Whatever you want to do, you know, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm not doing it because I feel like I have to prove myself. I'm just doing it because that's the most, I feel like, requested type of content. Yeah. To be honest, you know what the juiciest thing that you're going to get out of that? You're going to believe me when I say that I got stopped out in profit, and I get stopped out in profit for majority of my trades. And maybe you guys maybe there's 1 or 2 people that'll realize that just with risk management, you can slowly but surely build up your trading capital, and you don't have to necessarily go full Gamba mode every single time. So I bet the biggest juice or the biggest thing that people pick up on is going to be something abstract, something more conceptual than actual trades, you know? So, but you guys excited? I'm excited for having set times where we have a specific purpose. So if you're busy to do something, or you don't have time to be here 24/7, but you want to be here for Altcoin Nerd Out, well, fuck it, bro. You know that I'm going to be starting at 8:30 every time on Thursday, right? If you want to be here for the S&P scalp, well, fuck it, bro. You know I'm going to be doing that bitch from 9:30 to 10:30 every Tuesday. So maybe it helps a little bit. Even like recaps, I'm going to have it scheduled. So, you know, we'll do 15-second alpha TA right when we start. The next recap is going to be at 11:30. And then the next one's going to be, you know, 30 minutes before power hour to do like last minute TA for the day. You know, and then 30 minutes before I dip out, we're going to do our final recap. Obviously, that'll all be organized into highlights and shit, but if you guys want to time it, the schedule will all be there. When we do version 2.0, so you guys see the box over here where I did the live liquidations. Yo, why is this shit stuttering? Is this down? It's not down, right? Anyways, you guys see this box for liquidations? This will probably have the schedule for the day and the week, the stream schedule. I've been watching a lot of Bloomberg to get like inspirations and like ESPN shit. Like, doesn't ESPN like always tell you like what's coming up on the left-hand side? Doesn't Bloomberg TV and like CNN and Fox News, they have the headlines on the left-hand side, like what's coming up next? All right, I got to get out of here. You guys okay? I love you guys, Lions. Let's get it. And the biggest treat that I have for you guys, it doesn't even involve me. I think you guys are going to be excited about guest streamers, co-streamers that we're going to start to have on. All right. I can't wait until oh fuck, I almost said his first name, but I can't wait until CryptoFace tells me, hey motherfucker, you need to stop calling it a green mushroom, bitch. I can't wait till I say, yo, CF, can I get a kachoya? I can't wait till it's, hey Sato, I not poor, you poor, and he goes, yo, that was creepily similar to his laugh. Shit. That was way too close to sounding like his shit. You guys good? Ayo Gaines, let's go, brother. Lemotard, let's go. Satoshi, let's go. Are NFTs still in the future? Oh my God, yes. Yes, I'm super behind on that. But yeah, Kimba Gang NFT coming out soon as well. Yeah. Even like doing like a Heart of the Lion coin. Yeah. Yeah, because eventually Heart of the Lion, when we get the Heart of the Lion token out, I want to do it all at the same time. NFT release and token release. And I just need to make sure I have enough, because I got to put in a lot of money to make sure that it's not going to be like a pump and dump, you know? So I'm going to put at least, I don't know, like 2.5 mil of my own money. Obviously, it's going to be on the blockchain, so it'll be full transparency. I'm going to code it in and make the tokenomics impossible for a pump and dump. I'd rather have a fucking stable coin, to be honest. So I'm going to make it so that it's impossible for it to be a pump and dump from a programming standpoint, from a vesting standpoint, for a scheduling standpoint, for a distribution standpoint. I want to do the complete opposite of what most people would do and make it impossible for it to be a pump and dump. Because then when we do channel point redemptions, I'm going to make it so, like, you know, for if you have 30,000 channel points, you can get one Heart of the Lion token, right? And you can take one Heart of the Lion token and exchange it for something else, or trade it back in for credits for Kimba TV. So you could use it for Ask a Question. You could use it to donate to the admins and mods, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually, when the metaverse gets back up again, we'll involve that currency as the main primary transactional element for the metaverse. All right, 11 minutes. Hey, Prophet Maxi, what's going on, brother? Let's go, Prophet Maxi. Get juicy. Get juicy. Welcome back. You know you always have a home here, brother. All right, Lions. I love you guys. I can't play the music today, so we can't do a traditional outro, but I think I can switch the scene, right? Let me try. Hey, any other questions? You guys good? Aura, Moses, Lemotard, Prophet Maxi, Moses, Wolf Zero, Vanya, New Future, Buzzo, Houston in the building. Pedro, Mandalo, Lou Time, Do You Boo Boo, Playas, Kagan. I don't know if you have time this weekend, Mandalo, but I know that we're going to be doing a lot of Black Ops. Yeah. Yeah, SEAL Team 69 might be needed this weekend. I might need my SEAL Team 69. The math is the math. And he reaving. Lemotar says, one question. Is everything good for you? Are you Gucci too? Man, I'm blessed. Lemotard. Yeah, like I'm a little bit scared about like health stuff coming up. I don't know if you remember when I told you this, but everybody on my dad's side of my family, every male on my dad's side, has not lived past 55. My dad's brothers, my dad's dad, my dad's brothers. And so like I have a really, really high chance of like cancer, you know, but I've known that since I was very, very little. I've tried to do everything that I could to, you know, kind of not do it, but I'm probably getting to that. Like I have so many tests coming up, I think in about 4 weeks. So that kind of gets me anxious, but we all die at some point, you know? And even if I were to die next week, I would be so pissed and sad because I feel like my life is incomplete. But I feel like I've lived 2 lifetimes too. So, yeah, I think it's kind of I've dealt with like people dying and people close to me dying many times since I was young, but kind of like the first time where I'm seriously thinking about, dude, like what if I only have 20 years left? What if I only have 30 years left? You know, tick, 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 tick. 30 years went by pretty fucking quick for me already. You know, and I'm not complaining, but I don't really know if I did the right thing by sacrificing so much when I was younger. Obviously, I have a blessed life and I have everything that I could ever want now, but do I? I don't know. So, stuff like that. Yeah, but I have a whole bunch of fucking like crazy blood work, and you know, they're going to stick a camera up my ass probably, right? I got to do that shit. But like
Shout out Kimba.
June, July,
Let's get it. Kimba was popping.
So that's really the only thing that's kind of on my mind probably. Yeah. But what about you guys, man? You guys staying healthy? You guys spending time with your loved ones? Are you guys making it count? Got to make it count. How many of you guys nerding out this week? How many of you guys taking some time and just relaxing? Please do, Lions. I always demand the best from you guys, during the weekdays. So definitely rest up and recharge your battery. Thank you for asking, though, Le Motard. But yeah, it kind of... You know what's crazy is one of my favorite movies when I was younger is this movie called Blank Check. It's this kid, like, long story short, he comes into like $1 million. He has $1 million, and I remember watching that movie thinking, holy fuck, I can only hope I have $1 million. If I have $1 million when I'm old, I am a ballin' motherfucking king. And that is not the case anymore. It was a lot more when we were young, man. Yep, for sure. But yeah, that was a I don't know. And I think you get to a point where it's like, oh man, I don't know if, cuz it's like it's one thing to well, I don't know. I'm always learning. Lil Xan, you good? Much love, Mandalo. All right, let me wrap it up. I got to go pick up my dry cleaning and get ready for dinner with baby girl. I ain't a doctor says medtech has improved a lot and you are rich from crypto, so get a full body MRI scan tomorrow ASAP. Well, I mean, I've been doing like blood work and different kinds of tests and scans, but I'm luckily I'm okay, right? Because I don't have anything that would warrant it. Like, I don't know if you actually are a doctor, even though your username is I ain't a doctor, but usually anything that you're gonna dose yourself with radiation, right? Like you're kind of doing it to. You have to balance the risk reward, right? So you're not gonna just randomly do MRIs and blast your body with radiation, right, Lee Kwok? Because I've already been down this road many, many times. I mean, I was fucking 16 years old talking about, can I get scanned so I know I don't have cancer? Can I get scanned right now? I've been asking for that shit since I was little, bro. But they really only do it if it makes sense to do it. Just like trading, there's always a pro and con for everything. Yeah. I've done an MRI though. Yeah. Every time I've done like an MRI, I've thought about that one episode where like the guy had like a penis pump, and if the doctor hadn't asked him about it, had he gone through with the MRI, it was gonna just get ripped out of his dick. Katoya. Lemotar says, I was born with a malformation and I struggle every day, but I'm not the most to be pitied. That's a great attitude to have, man. And if the world has been mean or cruel in any ways, I apologize on behalf of the world. But I hope you're afraid of losing your mother. Oh yeah, me too. I'm such a big mama's boy. Yeah, but it will happen at some point. Yeah, it's talking about death isn't really like the most Gucci thing. But as somebody that has experienced a lot of close deaths, you cry the most when you have the most amount of regrets, So if you feel like you didn't get to do something you wanted or you didn't get to say something you wanted, that's what will fucking drive you nuts. So if you can seize every opportunity to make sure that you don't have those regrets, you can definitely be prepared and definitely lessen the emotional pain. You dig? So, yeah, you can, I mean, I don't want to say you can prepare for death, but exclamation prepared, but, you know, we don't live forever. And, you know, especially with your loved ones, every minute counts. Make it special. Nah, man. You also need genetic tests for cancers, for sure. Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of them. I've already done a little bit, but yeah, that's what I mean is like I'm starting like my every 2 years, like we're going to do this, or every 3 years, we're going to do this type of shit. Yeah, I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but I gotta make sure. Let's get it, Lions. Well, I don't want to waste any more of your guys' time because time is precious. Get off the computer. I mean, if you're trading right now, God bless you. Stay safe. But let's get off the computer. Enjoy the rest of Friday. I'll probably see you guys on Sunday CME resumption. I think I will be here looking at the charts. The only way that I'm not streaming is I'm out for dinner or I'm on a flight or something and I physically can't be looking at the charts. But if I'm looking at the charts, I'll click start stream and I'll hang out with you guys. So I'm thinking maybe like a 2-3 hour stream on Sunday when CME comes back. Yeah, other than that, you guys have an amazing weekend. I love you guys. We're getting close to some big ass giveaways. Tool giveaways, KingFisher Trading Light High Block. All right. And let's show some love to everybody. I don't know if this is going to work. Let me try. Sucks that we can't play songs, but it's okay. Let me see if I can. Yes. Marvel just gifted 20 subs. Danny gifted 10 subs. Evie Paz gifted 3. Hitman Gucci 3. Hey Blade 2. I love you guys, Lions. Lee Kwok, you guys stay safe. Hey, if you're going to do something crazy, let me know. Okay? Don't do anything crazy without me. Let me know. Let me know. I want to get down with the gang. Hakan, Chris, Agomez, Lee Kwok, Lutai. Yo, why does this keep happening? How do I say goodbye? I think my my singing voice actually broke the audio codec. As soon as I started to go, how do I said, no, fuck that. I was like, how do I say goodbye? And I look over and OBS was crashed. I was like, man. It wasn't that bad. You guys are the best. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Hey, Sato, tell him what happens if you don't use stop loss. Love you guys, Lions. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Peace, everybody. Ka-choya.